Hello and welcome to the IGN UK Podcast. My name is Gav Murphy and today I'm joined by our esteemed leader,
Alex Simmons.
There you go. And
Rory Powers.
hello.
Did like a DJ effect on that.
How you doing? How was your weekend? Good?
Really good. Yeah. Really,
What
really
did you
fun.
do with your weekend?
I had some drinks.
No,
I
specifically to do with this podcast.
call my mum for a bit. If it was,
Let's do a whole section on Rory's mum.
I went
Like
to.
most people have, haven't they, right?
I went to Sad Dan's house with Krups.
Yeah.
We played the Division beta. We played
All
a
right.
lot of the Division beta. Maybe about 6 hours, 7 hours or
Not
so.
that much.
That's a lot of time for
There's
a
not
beta.
a lot in that game.
When you're like, a lot, 6 hours.
That's a lot of time for a weekend-only beta as well.
It's just
That's a
been
lot of time
extended,
to sink in.
actually.
Has it?
It was extended another 24 hours.
I did not know that. Why are we doing this? Why am I not playing right
Don't
now?
know.
And that should give you a little indication about how I feel about the beta.
Well, you can't have liked it that much because you only put 6 hours into it.
Well, it was like midnight. I had to get home
So what is it?
to call my mum and have those drinks. that
I
we
never
talked
managed
about.
to download it at all.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
That's the first
I didn't,
stumbling block.
I didn't get to play it because I was working. Usually I would have downloaded it here, but I was working from home. I was off on
Oh,
Friday,
that's right.
so I had
No,
to
we
download
got the codes Thursday.
30
so-
gig.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
30 gig download.
Yeah.
What have I missed?
So much. So you got your first little glimpse at the campaign. The game seems to be kind of split into two sections because you have two separate ranks. So you have when you do missions in the zone that isn't PvP.
Not the dark zone.
Not the dark zone.
Non-dark. The light zone.
The light
Light
zone.
zone.
Let's call it the
Which
light
is
zone.
the big apple.
Yeah, even though it's still pretty bleak and dark.
Yeah.
You level up your orange or yellowy rank, which seems to be your rank in that world.
Yeah.
So that kind of means what guns you use. You need to be certain levels. What are you laughing at? This is all factual.
Orange or
They
yellowy
know. They know
rank.
if they played it. You know the orange
Yeah.
rank. And then once you're in the dark world, killing players, getting gear,
That's
being
a whole
rogue,
different
staying off
leveling
rope.
system,
It's a
right?
whole different leveling system.
Yeah.
Isn't that confusing?
No, it's very simple because it's just 2 bars above.
I know, but
and then
what-
you know when you're like looking at what guns you need to use, you're like, okay, so I'm level 14 in the real world, but I'm only level 7 in the dark zone, so I'm going to go do some more dark zone
Yeah.
stuff and get that level up.
So
I mean,
you
it's easy enough.
So in that respect, you can use a, let's say, level 14 weapon outside on campaign missions, but you can't take that same weapon and use it in the dark zone.
Well, what I think is, from my recollection, that a lot of guns have 2 requirements.
Right.
So it'll have a dark zone requirement
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
real world requirement. Because there was like a gun that was maybe level 8, but then I had to be a certain dark zone level to get it. Because all the
Yeah.
best gear in the game you get from the dark zone.
Yeah. So
that's
that's
the whole
what
idea.
you said it doesn't happen basically. So like
Yeah.
a gun will be like level 14 dark zone, level 7 normal zone, or something like that.
Right.
Like so, only if you meet both requirements can you use the gun
But
wherever.
it basically forces you to play the dark zone stuff.
Yeah,
because that's where the best
essentially,
That's what the best stuff is,
or
yeah.
vice versa. Encourages you to play the story and level up in that regard to try and make it so that they don't really stand individually. You need to
Yeah.
be.
I think that's
proficient in
smart.
both of them. I think it is too. It creates a bit of a balance in the game, so players don't just come in and just spend all their time in the dark zone.
I guess the only thing that'd be bad is if you really don't like PvP, and some people really don't. Like it'd be really hard for you to play that
Yeah.
game.
So, because I didn't really touch Destiny's PvP at all,
Crucible. Yeah.
for that very reason.
Yeah.
And so the fact that it's kind of forcing me to do it is a bit like, well,
Well,
That seems a bit
I
crap.
would argue that this PvP is very different from Crucible. Whereas Crucible, while still kind of giving the illusion that you're entering a planet and it's free roam and you're doing it, it is still 2 teams, objective based, that
Yeah.
sort of thing, or
Sure.
team deathmatch.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
this is essentially you by yourself or with a team are dropped into this dark zone and you have kind of free roam of wherever you want to go with you and your squad or by yourself. And there's a bunch of NPCs littered across the map. And by killing them, they'll drop gear. So you get rewards, you get points, you'll level yourself up and you'll get gear. The only problem is that the gear is contaminated because it's in the dark zone, and the only way to actually get it out is by
I love this bit,
requesting
yeah.
helicopter.
yeah.
So immediately, as soon as you call in a helicopter from
Everyone
one of the
knows where you
extraction
are.
points, everyone on the map knows there's a helicopter coming in because someone's got gear and they're trying to get it out.
Right.
So I was, of course, playing with the 2 Dans, which definitely gave us a bit of an advantage because if we needed to get gear out,
Yeah.
we could kind of hold down the fort, call in the helicopter, and everyone kind of throw up positions.
Yeah.
And everyone seems to be quite responsible, or did at the start. It's really nerve-wracking because maybe you'll be calling in for an extraction, and then 3 more guys will come, and they'll just kind of be, hovering where you are about to extract, and then because if you have gear, you can see it on people. They
Yeah.
have a yellow bag on their back. So we can be like, okay, these guys have gear, so it's probably a high chance that they also want to get gear out.
Yeah.
But sometimes,
Because what is it, like 5 people can use the extraction point, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like everyone kind of rushes the extraction point and like put their bits and bobs on it.
Yeah, but of
Yeah.
course, you've got a minute and a half before that helicopter gets there.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you'll all be looking and you'll see someone who doesn't have a bag.
Yeah.
And you're like, there is no reason for him to be at this extraction point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everyone's kind of like very, itchy trigger finger, like watching each other.
And that's
like
the thing, you don't want
hawks.
to be the first person to go. So I didn't play the beta, but I played quite a lot of it. We went out and did some stuff at the studio. But like, you don't want to be the first person to shoot the dude, because then you can go rogue, and then a lot of people can go for you, and because then if they kill you, they get their level goes up a lot quicker.
Yeah, if
in the dark
so
zone.
you don't get in any trouble for shooting rogue
No.
players. So no one wants to be the first person to shoot, but it's just really, really intense.
It's really nerve-wracking. I think it would be even more nerve-wracking if you weren't playing with a couple of people that you knew with you all the time. If you were just playing, I would just think that people are going to screw you over constantly.
Well, me and two Dans were playing, and we must have got like everyone you bump into who's by themselves.
Yeah.
Was sending us like game invites because he was like, "That's a team of 3. Like if I join up, my numbers are better. I'll have better chance to
Yeah.
extract
Did you
things."
enjoy that with anyone?
You can join up with anyone, and they make it
No, did you
really. We joined up with one guy,
Okay.
and he did an extraction with us, and then I think we killed him and took his things.
Crew was telling me,
Wow.
what was the story that you guys are doing? Like, so Crew was telling me, like, you didn't know that he could hear your comms.
Oh yeah, so it all works by near field communication. So even if people aren't in your direct party, when you get close to them, you can hear each other. Of course, I always completely forgot that. So we're waiting by the extraction point, and we're all just like standing there. It's us and a group of other people. These other 2 guys, and I can see he was like, "Oh, they've got bags," and he's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Should we kill them?" I was like, I guess because there's 3 of us, we'll kill them. We could take their stuff, and then I just see the 2 guys bolt off, and I'm like, "Oh, I guess they're gone now." And they're like, "Rory, they can hear everything you're saying."
Classic powers.
But it's really funny because you kind of go in tune with the world that you get put into.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times we get put into a world, and it's very much like everyone wants to be the voice of justice. So when
Right.
someone goes rogue, you hunt them down. But then alternatively, we would load into worlds where maybe there'd be a group of 7 rogues just like ruling the city, going around killing everyone. And because they're a team, they can just do that.
So that was part of the problem that I had, is that the signposting on the game is pretty poor, or certainly in the beta. It doesn't give you much of an idea of what you're supposed to be doing. Because I lost your team like really early on. I don't really know how, because I thought we were all in the same group, and then suddenly it's like, "Oh, we're miles away, we're up here." That's the other thing, the distance between checkpoints. Oh my god!
Yeah.
You seem to walk for ages and nothing happens.
The dark zone is kind of tough for that as well, because obviously you can't like teleport to waypoints because you're online, and then it means players can teleport to places and get the jump on you. So when you're actually in the light world, you can cut down on distances and things. But that is one of the problems. Like sometimes we were walking about for quite a while before we actually stumble across anyone.
Well, and I think that's the thing. Certainly in the dark zone, is that it got to a point where there were, I don't know, it must have been 20 people, all like playable characters running around, and they didn't really know what they were supposed to be tracking. So they just started shooting at each other. And that, admittedly, that was after the beta just went live. I just thought, you haven't explained this very well.
You do definitely get that. Like we stumbled across a couple people who you'd bump into them and they would just open fire. And it's like, there's 3 of us. This guy has no idea like what he's really doing. But
I think that'll come. Like, I think obviously we've only seen a tiny bit in the beta, so I guess like maybe when you're actually playing the full game, it'll explain a little bit better. But I do completely understand. Like
it's very much deep end.
Otherwise, you just have no idea. You go into this dark zone, you think, "Oh, this is just where I kill people," whereas actually it's a lot smarter than that.
A lot of
you actually have
tactics
like a lot. You have to like really think about what you're doing a lot more.
Like my other issue with it is, because you've just been very positive about it. My briefer playtime with it is that I thought the campaign missions that they've shown so far were pretty dull.
Which ones have they shown so far?
Well, you have to go in and rescue the chief medical officer.
Oh, the hospital one.
Yeah. But that just felt like a go through, shoot some people.
Yeah.
There was no kind of, if you look, and again, I hasten to kind of not draw comparisons with Destiny all the time, but some of those kind of long missions, and hopefully the Division will have this, were supremely complex with loads of stuff and people having defined roles and all this kind of stuff. Whereas this felt like, I didn't really feel like much of a part of a team. It was just kind of like, just shoot those guys.
I know what you mean, actually, because I was thinking that because me and Krups were playing it, and I played the same mission with Krupa as I did by myself, just to see. And it was no different at all. It
No.
was just like slightly easier because there was more of us to
Sure,
shoot them.
sure.
Like I'm pretty sure that like the enemy count didn't go up or anything like that. It was just
Right,
like
it wasn't
literally
dynamic.
like that mission was kill all these people.
Yeah.
And I did a bunch of just little side missions, and they were all kill these people,
Yeah.
kill these people, and then find this little key which is right next door to the last person you kill. And stuff like that. Like they don't seem to be, but then I guess we've only seen a tiny bit.
I know,
think
exactly.
it's pretty
It's really
interesting
hard.
to note that. So, have you only played the hour at lunch that we played?
Yeah.
So I initially played that hour as well with you guys at lunch, and I had all these points in mind. I actually found the controls to be quite clunky,
Right.
the movement, and I wasn't really sold. The first couple missions weren't really doing anything for me. As you said, it's very much hit a point, and that will make other enemies spawn, and then you push up, and then the next group will spawn.
Yeah.
But once you're in actually roaming about in the free world, they have different missions that kind of pop up to help other people.
Awesome.
And there were some that we were doing where it was, track down a missing person, and you'd go to one location and activate some sort of, computerized hub that would put you in the past, and you could see where people were and walk around.
Yeah.
There was a lot of really cool stuff, way more interesting than just move here, shoot this person.
Yeah.
So hopefully if there's a couple more like that, then that was way more interesting.
Well,
than stuff
I'm
we
assuming
usually
that
do.
there's going to be a ton more than that, because obviously you've got your base of operations. I love the idea of being able to kind of spend time in that and investing in different areas rather than just, it's a little bit, I guess, like Mother Base on Metal Gear, but different areas are R&D to get better tech and this, that, and the other. But also my other, this is a fundamental problem with the game, is because it's set in the real world, unlike Destiny, which is kind of sci-fi. When I shoot somebody in the head 5 times with a machine gun and he's only wearing a bobble hat and he's still standing up, I'm a bit like, this feels weird.
Yeah.
I get it in Destiny because the guy I'm shooting is wearing kind of weird armor or he's an alien and it's a space. But this is grounded in reality, and especially coming fresh off the back of Rainbow Six, where everything is so mechanically precise and a headshot is instant death for either myself or the person who I'm shooting at. That felt just really weird. And I've never had that problem before, whether it's Borderlands, which uses, kind of similar RPG system, and obviously I'm dealing critical hits. But it just felt a bit out of place.
I think I totally get where you're coming from, because if you compare to something like another FPS like COD, where even that is, a couple headshots and someone goes down, where this game has taken, as we said, the mechanics of Destiny. You're shooting a player, you're watching the digits move up above their head, that very number-based system of combat. But because it's doesn't have that fantasy element to it, you just expect them to
no
die.
blood either.
Yeah, it's no blood.
It kind of feels weird. Like even in the Uncharted stuff, like in the multiplayer for that, you get blood in that.
Yeah, actually, it's a good point. You do feel a little bit removed from what's actually happening in the game. And again, sorry to use Rainbow Six, but that's how I've been playing that game every lunchtime for goodness sake. You see the blood splats on the wall behind someone when you shoot them. Whereas, and that feels like, when that wall is blown through, you're like, oh, holy shit, somebody is in this room with me. Whereas I didn't feel like I was that connected to the action.
That's a really good point,
Although, to be fair, that being said, going back to the Dark Zone, me and the 2 Dans had essentially a shootout between us and a team of rogues. And then a bunch of NPCs got involved, and a bunch of other people who were hunting the rogues came down. We were at this gas station, and everyone's behind cars, going up and shooting. It was one of the most intense firefights. You're just on this street in New York, and there's maybe 15 players all trying to shoot each other out.
Yeah.
And then of course, when they start getting low, some of the cowards, we'll call them, start fleeing towards the back, and then you have to go hunt them down. And it was really, really intense. I do realize there's a lot of problems with the gameplay mechanics, and I don't know how they're actually going to work with building the characters. I know Dan said there's a lot of customization and things that are really fun.
There's a lot of customization.
Which
that's quite overwhelming.
Oh, definitely.
See, I quite like that going, because that was one of the things that we moaned about actually on this podcast. In Rainbow Six, is you don't get enough customization and stuff. So when we were out there, we were like, oh, I think it's 4 or 5 parts to a gun that you can customize.
And then it's you pick your specialties, and then you can mod your specialties.
And you can also change as well. So that's the cool thing about it, is you can play as one. You can switch between the way that you decide to play and what kind of character you are, all just on the fly.
Yeah, so respec your character.
Exactly. Yeah, without having to do it like Destiny and make a new character, which I think is a really cool thing, because you could get really bored of that, but you'd still kind of soldier on because you think, I'm not going to give up a level 30 character. But actually with this, you can go, I'm going to have a try at being something else.
That was like Borderlands as well. You could spend points to just redo all your attributes.
Which is good.
So you've spent a lot of time playing Destiny.
Yes.
is
just hit 305 light.
Okay, so
Don't
bearing
pretty
in mind
Is
the
it?
time
think
you've
so.
spent with The Division,
Yeah.
is it convinced you enough to kind of go, okay, I'm going to move away from that and focus on The Division, or are you going to go back to Destiny?
That was literally the conversation I've been having with a lot of people I play Destiny with,
Mm.
because a lot of them were on the beta for The Division in the hopes that would become the new kind of Destiny that we could play until Destiny 2 comes out. And
It's not similar enough to get it, I don't think.
I think after this weekend, I absolutely
Really?
think so. I think there's enough customization with the characters, with the weapons. The looting system as well is almost identical. All the color codes for the
Sure.
rarity of the
Yeah.
weapons is exactly the same. And
So it's familiar enough, but has
different
enough
enough.
differences
Yeah.
to kind of
I
draw
think
you in.
the actual mechanics are pretty different, but the looting system and the way you create your character is similar enough.
Yeah.
Combined with the Dark Zone, which is one of the most interesting PvP experiences I've
Yeah.
ever had in a game
Okay.
to date. It seems so simple when someone pitches you the idea of an extraction.
Yeah.
And you just think, why has a game never done this before? It's so exciting and so tense. You're making the characters create the tension, like the
Yeah.
players create the excitement in the game. It's insane. So I would recommend it definitely if you're into Destiny. It may take a little while to get used to because, as I
Yeah.
said when I started, I found the controls a bit clunky and the movement a bit rough, and even shooting's different. But it's just a different game, and it's
Yeah.
a great different game.
And there's an open beta coming later this month as well, so obviously more people will get to try it out, which I
Yeah.
think is a good thing, because the busier that kind of game is, I think the better
Yeah.
the results are going to be.
Definitely.
There was a game on the weekend that I was able to download, and that was Unravel.
So you weren't really part of the cool crowd at all. Everybody
No.
else is tweeting about playing.
Well, this Unravel's pretty cool. You get to play as a little yarn person thing that I'm not really sure what he is, and I really liked it. I think we can only talk about the first 2 levels, and you've played both of those.
If he comes to my extraction point, I'm gonna mess him up. I'll lay him out, yeah.
You're gonna mess him up.
I'll
Look at
mess
his
him up.
little- Look at his little face.
Oh, he is cute actually.
It is really cute.
How long did that take you to make that?
It took my girlfriend.
Oh,
It's about 2.5 hours to make.
okay.
Like
I'm disappointed, Gav.
I was playing Unravel.
playing the game.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
playing
The
the actual
inspiration.
game. But I really like it. I'm not like I was talking to Kroops about early on, and like I'm not really sure what I am. Like, or, like I know I'm Yarny, but I don't know what he is.
Right.
Like, is he a
Yarn?
toy that used to belong to some of the kids, which you
Right.
see, or is he just yarn and it's just come to life?
Yeah.
Because you do see like a red ball of yarn. Like we've got some videos up on the site. Like,
Bumps down the stairs
Like
and-
you do see some like red wool fall down the stairs, and I was like, oh, I must be him then. But then the next time you see him, he's moving around, so there's no reason for him to be like that. So,
Maybe that's the end game, is that
I
you
don't
find
know.
out what Yarny is.
I don't think it is. I think maybe I just don't get it.
We did a.
You met the guy, right?
Yeah,
What did
I
he
met
say?
the guy. I met the guy. I was talking to him about it, and I think ambiguity is kind of part of the point
Okay,
of the
right.
game. Because I did ask. I was like, obviously there is a narrative. Does it
Yeah.
really play in a lot, or is because as you move up, you also pick up memories.
Yeah.
So you go through the levels, you pick up memories, and then when you go back to kind of the home base.
Yeah.
Uh,
Home base.
I know I've been playing way too much Division. When you go back to your safe house and check out your guns.
It's an old lady's cottage.
Home base, man. Come on.
When you go back to headquarters, you can find out there's like pictures and memories filled out in some
Yeah.
of the books. But
that's the thing, I
played
still
the first 2 levels and I don't really know what is
Yeah.
going on.
Well, I don't know if those are my memories or the woman's memories or the wool's memories. Like,
the wolves'
I don't
memories.
fucking know. Like,
I think it's the memories of the family or the woman or the
I think-
yarn. You're
yeah.
right. Actually, I'm not too sure.
So I really like it at the moment. Like it's still early on.
Yeah.
But just talking from the first like 2 levels point of view, like it's really cute. It looks amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like
the-
Creeper's been playing it next to me, and there's
Yeah.
some bits that look absolutely beautiful.
And it's just like there's bits that just like little like incidental moments that happen where because I guess you're the size of I think that's probably about actual size
Yeah.
of what he is. So if you're watching the video, it's that big. If not, it's about the size of a pint glass. But that's how big he is. So when he's walking around the world, like you'll happen upon like a bird, and like you'll startle a bird, and a bird will run away, or like a little lizard,
Yeah.
and you'll see a lizard, and then like you'll start running away from the lizard, or try and catch a butterfly and things like that. Like that's really
It's
good.
cool. It's really cool seeing the world from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like when I was talking with the developer, he said a lot of the location recce they'd go to these like big big areas, and then all go down on like crawling on their bellies, taking a photo
cool.
of like down to Earth. I thought that would be really cool.
Yeah. And like I've been playing a lot of The Witness, and that doesn't have a soundtrack. So to go from that, which has no soundtrack, to Yarny, which has this amazing like folky like orchestral soundtrack, is really, really good and really suits it as well. And like even the like where you can feel it looping, it still sounds like it's one huge piece of music, which is really good. But the puzzles in it are awesome as well. Like some of them I've really been stuck on. And it introduces it does that awesome thing in like a platform where it introduces you to skills like early on, and then you got all these big ones, all these different skills, then put together you can solve like a big puzzle. But there's some bits where I was just looking at going, like, I shouldn't be swearing at something that cute. I was just like, how would you do this? Like, and I haven't had that since like Donkey Kong Country, and it really really reminds me.
I died a lot during the Let's Play. Eaten by crabs, drowned.
Well, the environment plays a massive part, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And again, like I won't talk specifics because the embargo is not lifted. But watching Creeper play it, like there's some scenes that actually reminded me quite a lot of Journey. Where Yarny is obviously going through this really tough part of the world, and the environment is hammering in, and you just think, poor little Yarny.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
That's one of the weird things about the game is, while you're playing it, a lot of the first levels as well are so bright and sunny. And you have this like nostalgic feeling, even though you've never been to any of these places before.
I think it's really dark.
But like even when it's sunny, you just have this horrible feeling it's gonna go wrong. And I think that's the problem when you have a character that's literally unraveling as he's like falling apart the further you get. And it's like, I've only played the first 2 levels, but there is like a sense of impending doom that's kind of hard to shake.
I kind of don't understand the unraveling thing a lot, right? Because,
I have a theory.
Because no, I understand why he's unraveling.
Oh, okay.
But like,
see, he's made of yarn and as it travels distance.
Right. But the actual mechanics of it, like, because there was one bit where I was trying to get to a certain bit, but I'd run out of yarn on myself. And when you do, he looks really cute because he's like nothing left. He's like a skeleton and you can't quite get there. So I was like, the reason I can't get to there is because maybe I've used too many knots or something like that. So I jumped back up and undid loads of knots. There was nothing. Did nothing at all.
Oh, really?
And I thought,
you've missed a spot then. You've missed
I know that. I went back. But then it seemed to me that if I was untying bits that he'd used, he should have more. He should be able to get further. That just makes sense.
That's just the laws of physics.
That didn't happen.
I'm pretty sure tying knots does use up yarn, but I don't know
no,
if
it definitely does.
But untying it.
But untying it, I should be able to go further then?
You should.
Okay.
That checks out. Yeah.
But I really like it.
I think it's good.
It's really cute. It's like, I don't know, it seems really interesting and different.
It's definitely a nice break. If you make yourself a green tea and sit down and play that game, just it's great.
I am slightly worried that the tweeness of it maybe will start to wear on me towards the end, because at the beginning I was just like, this is brilliant and I want to cry playing this game. But then I was like, after a while, when you start getting really stuck and you're like, I hate this music, I hate this.
I want to strangle this little yarn boy.
There's only
I
so
hate
far
Mumford
you
and
can
Sons.
get.
But at the moment it's really good. I think I'm interested to see what types of people like the game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, the review is embargo's up next week, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, Creeper's playing it right now.
Yes. What else is Yarny this week?
At the Nuremberg Toy Fair, Lego revealed some more stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
It can't be the podcast unless we talk about Lego,
of course.
Right? Some new Star Wars stuff that's happening. So more Force Awakens stuff is coming, as we kind of expected. But we got our first glimpse of some Rogue One stuff. And it's a picture of a Lego, what looks like Slave One.
Yeah.
It actually looks a whole lot like the UCS Slave One that is out. Which, does that mean that Boba Fett's definitely going to be in Rogue One? Which is obviously the offshoot Star Wars film that comes out this Christmas. I hope so.
I hope so. Although... What if they ruin him?
We've talked about this on Rebel Base all the time. I think he is a character that people really love, but
he does nothing.
If you get any more of him, I think people are not gonna like it.
I think so too.
Like, look
as soon
what
as
happened
his
when
helmet comes off.
It's hard to sort of judge what they did with him in the prequels because people hate the prequels, so you can't sort of use that as a basis because people will just dismiss it for the prequels. If you make a film all about Boba, like, that's gonna be really hard, man.
Yeah. Well, part of the problem with Jango Fett was that he just didn't have any of the...
It just wasn't cool.
No, exactly. No. And I think the reason Boba Fett is cool is by what he doesn't do rather than what he does.
Yeah.
He is a background character.
Yeah.
And you're right, if the focus then switches to him, it could become a little bit too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what they would need to do?
Or something like that.
They need to give him the same treatment that they give Mad Max. Like, make him, he's the lead character, but like doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of these situations that involve him, but he is just kind of doing his job or something. That would be really cool. So it's like almost the characters around him are like speaking for him, and then he just kind of like goes along. That would be a good way to do it.
Well, we had someone write into Rebel Base, which is actually available in podcast form now, so you can download that on iTunes.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
That's my commute sorted.
There you go. But we had someone write into Rebel Base recently that was like, imagine if they did a Boba Fett movie exactly like they did Dread, like the really good Dread movie. That could be really good. Like, somebody doesn't take his helmet off at all.
Yeah.
Like, it just all set over like one night or something like that.
Actually, yeah, that would be perfect. I think as soon as you
really
try and draw the character out too much, and if he like takes his helmet off and has a moment and things,
Yeah.
people are gonna get.
Or like a love interest and stuff like that.
That wouldn't happen.
Well, I don't know.
But because I think also, like, even though Boba Fett is most likely going to be, or at least Slave One is going to be in the film, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be the focal point of that film.
No, I don't think so.
It could just be...
Could be the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
And again,
cool.
like, it might not even say a word.
Yeah.
Or if he does, don't make it that Kiwi accent.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Well, if it's like, it could be that if he is in it, he could, if like all these people have been sent out to get the Death Star plans, he could be someone that Vader has sent to sort of stop them from getting them. Maybe.
Yeah.
That could be good.
Just imagine watching the movie and the first time he appears on the screen, everyone would lose their minds.
Yeah.
I just hope it's like the treatment of him's not so over the top and like, you know, like properly CGI'd up to the eyeballs and flying around and shooting stuff and doing backflips and whatever.
Like a space cowboy.
Exactly.
Comes in fire.
Because Django had those space kind of shoots.
Yeah.
Awful. But anyway, going back to Lego, so they've also announced that some more Rebel stuff is coming. New classic stuff is coming, and despite Disney saying that they're going to nix Slave Leia, she's still there in Lego form.
Yeah, but what is that? It's just paint.
Studs and all.
Yeah, but they said they weren't going to make any more toys of Slave Leia.
Yeah.
Is Lego a toy? It's figurines. It's collectibles.
You embarrassed yourself, Rory.
Never.
And then they also hinted that, well, not hinted, they said that there's a new TV series coming later this year. Well, the Lego is out in August.
Yeah.
It's going to be along the lines of the Yoda Chronicles and all the droid stuff that they did. So loads of exciting stuff coming from Star
really
Wars.
Cool. Are we going to get some of this in the office?
Hopefully.
Yeah,
little Friday pizza party. Build it up.
You've never expressed an interest in making Lego at
No,
all.
I haven't. You guys
does
always
like
you
pizza, though.
intimidate me.
Right.
The time I came in here and they were making the Quickie Mart, and I was like, "Oh, that looks." And they were like, "Get away, Rory! You'll break it. Go in the stand in the corner. You can watch."
Annoying younger brother.
Exactly. Yeah. They don't trust me.
Go and play with your Meccano.
Your Duplo.
Yeah. Bionicle. Great.
All right, Rory, what have you written down here in the Yarny section?
I've been playing a new game that Dale recommended to me.
Okay.
Now, I didn't think I was going to enjoy
You've
it so
written
much.
Lifeline, the text-based adventure that's out of this world.
Thanks for ruining my tagline, Gab. I was about to drop that bomb halfway through the story and blow everyone's minds. It's going to be amazing. Have you guys seen The Martian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's essentially a game where there's an astronaut who's crash landed on a moon somewhere out in space.
Okay.
And he's managed to get in contact with NASA. You're NASA.
I'm NASA.
You are. You're
Okay.
NASA. So basically,
insane.
Excellent.
you're also NASA. I'm NASA. We're NASA. He's basically crash landed. He doesn't know what to do, so he kind of feeds you informations like text messages, so they come through to your phone.
Okay.
So it's a text-based adventure essentially. So he'll describe his surroundings, and eventually you'll reach, forks in the road, and you have to advise him on which path to take.
Right.
So originally, it's very simple things like, should I leave the ship? Should I stay here and find survivors? Should I go try and reach these mountain peaks? But there's so many different paths the story can go. So originally I was talking to Dale, and then he was saying like, "Oh yeah, did you find this yet?" And I'm like, I had no idea this was here. And you can kill him as well, because Dale accidentally killed his astronaut.
And then what happens? You have to start
And
again.
you have to start again.
Oh shit.
But it's a really cool experience. There's been a couple of times where he's asked me things that I have to research and advise him what to do. So at one point, when the ship crashes, he was like, "Okay, so I can't really close the door to the main hangar, so the breeze is coming in and it's freezing cold. I can either sleep here, or if I go around the back of the ship, the engine is still like just about on, but my biosuit says it's giving off 150 somewhat levels of radiation."
Right.
He's like, "Can you double check to make sure that's safe?" So I'm like at home Googling like radiation levels and toxic.
that's awesome.
Which I'm sure NASA does that. It's like,
Yeah.
So I'm like taking it.
Radiation levels, wiki, Google.
So I'm like trying to advise him. I'm like, all right, Taylor, it's safe, so you can like spend the night here. But there's all these little problems that crop up, and you have to solve them. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting the hint of a bigger picture now because he's
Okay.
stumbling across things. But man, it is so much fun.
how
It's such
far
an
into
it? Really
interesting-
good.
It's really, really cool.
how far into it? How much?
So I've been
time have
playing.
you
I've been
sunk
playing it for about 3 days now.
Okay.
But you play as much or as little as you want. So
Okay.
basically, he'll do a bunch of things and then ask you a question, and then it's not like he's waiting for a reply. You can answer it
Okay,
whenever
right,
you
yeah.
want. And then some tasks will take time. So he'll be like, "I'm gonna go check out this ridge. I'll get back to you in an hour." And it's all real time, so he'll message you back
cool.
in an hour. And it is weird because you're getting them as like phone messages.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it really feels like you are talking to someone. And the writing is actually pretty good as well. Like the
gonna check
back
this
and
out.
forth, and he
That does sound
makes
good.
little jokes and things like that, and you really feel like you know him. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Do you know what? You've actually contributed something useful to this podcast.
Aw.
So well done. Well done.
Oh, I think that was a horrible thing
What
to
a
say.
backhanded compliment.
I don't know what shit.
It's taken 18 months, but by Jove.
Hallelujah.
I really like the idea of real-time stuff that happens. Like there's a game called Subterfuge, which I was trying to get everyone to play.
Yeah,
when
I
it
was so close to doing that.
when it first came out. But it's basically like a sort of base takeover game set in water place, like subs and
Set in
stuff.
water
for that,
place.
It's like set underwater, and you basically have to take over people's bases and things. But there's a lot of like backstabbing. It all happens in real time. There's a really good video series about a bunch of people playing it on a channel called Cool Ghosts, and you should check that out because it's a horrible video because you watch people who were friends at the beginning. Then over the course of like 9 days, like really hate each other. And apparently, like I talked to some of these people who played it, and like it really burrows into your head because like you'll tell, like we might make an alliance, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking Alex is going to screw me over, and it sounds
And right, you should.
yeah, definitely. It sounds horrible. And I think if we all played it in the office, it added
I have-
an extra level to it because we can see each other and stuff like that. And like your phone goes off. And then everyone can kind of see. I think we should have a go of it.
I have played games like that before
Yeah.
where it's like real-time base invasion type stuff,
Yeah.
and it really does erode friendships. It's pretty insane. But
So
this
let-
is obviously
so
a
let's
much
definitely
more-
play that.
Yeah, this is a much more friendly version of that. So that's Lifeline, text-based game. I
Sounds
believe
awesome,
there's
man.
actually 2 or 3 of them now. I think the first one launched about a year ago, and they've subsequently launched a couple more. So check it out. It's
Good
awesome.
recommendation.
I definitely will. Right, Alex, you went on last week's, so
No.
unfortunately you missed the debut of Keyword Countdown,
Dun, 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 dun.
the game that's taken the podcast world by storm.
So much so, I was like, what's this?
Well, you obviously haven't been checking podcasts daily. So basically, Keyword Countdown for you and anyone else who doesn't know what it is. On IMDb, there are crazy keywords for films.
Okay.
Like they're really vague, they're really strange. Like they can be like Jurassic Park last week. One of the main keywords was man thrown in air
Right.
and stuff like that. Like so, that's how vague they are. So I'm challenging you guys to guess these 5
So
films.
are we working together?
No. You're
Truman
you're
Show.
against each other. This is a
Okay.
league. I've started
I
a
almost
league.
beat
Right.
Chris last week.
Well,
Almost.
So
Okay.
just so I'm aware of
Yeah,
the
rules.
game,
yeah.
it's the first person to chirp in, or do we just shout whatever we
First
want?
person to shout out, but you have multiple guesses. You can
Okay.
guess until you go. So basically,
All right.
because Rory didn't understand this last week, there are 10.
didn't explain it.
There are 10 keywords,
And it gets
obviously
easier.
It gets easier, so
Right.
you get 10 points if you guess on the first
Got
one.
it.
Down, all the way down to 1 point.
Got it.
On 10. You probably would have been worked this out. He had no idea.
I was like thrown in the deep end. It's like, all right, guys, we're gonna play a game.
Thrown into the deep
you ready?
end.
Hairy chest, man thrown. And I'm like panicking in the chair. Chris is yelling, Jurassic Park. I'm freaking out.
Hairy chest.
That was like
that was one of the
3
that was
films.
one of the keywords in Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you see Jeff Goldblum's hairy chest.
Still.
I know.
Anybody that gets Jurassic Park from hairy chest is.
Get that. You didn't, I think it was a bunch of others, but get that in your head anyway.
All right.
That's the level.
Get
of
the
thing.
hairy chest.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we go. This is film number
He's
1.
making notes.
Oh, you
I
want to
didn't even
win?
bring a pen. Give me your pen. Actually, I don't need it.
You're an idiot. Okay, film number 1.
Okay.
Protective father. Widower.
Oh, you're going to go through it this quickly?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, there's no point in me making.
Box office hit. Courage. Sydney Opera House. Boat.
What?
Turtle.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Dentist.
Finding Nemo.
Oh
Yes.
my god, I had it! Oh.
Nice. It's 3 points to Al. fuming.
My brain doesn't work like this.
Okay, film number 2.
Yeah.
Urban setting.
Yeah.
Moral dilemma. Sequel. Title spoken by character.
Taken 2.
Anti-hero. Knocked out with a gun butt. Bank robbery.
Dark Knight.
Yes. The other ones were facial disfigurement, burned to death, clown makeup.
I would have got a clown makeup.
There you go. I would have got it when you said it's Dark Knight.
The ones for Finding Nemo were talking shark, clownfish.
Probably would have got that too.
Awesome. Al,
Come on,
that's
Yarny, step it
4
up.
points for you there.
What was Chris's score?
6 off 2. So you're already storming ahead in the league, in the keyword countdown league.
Nice.
If I just play more, though, I'll get more points.
I
right?
also did this. I'll put this in next week's podcast. But I did this with TJ Millos in the new Deadpool film with his own films last week.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
He destroyed.
He was so
Sometimes
good.
you
Yeah,
said
but
one
he's just
word.
doing
and he
his
got-
own films, though.
Yeah, but he's been in a lot of films, man.
Still.
Yeah.
Okay, film number 3.
Yeah.
Vietnam War.
Full Metal Jacket.
Bully. High on drugs.
Apocalypse Now.
Assassination of president. Female rear nudity. Amputee.
Forrest Gump.
Yay! Well done, Rory.
Had me at girl butts.
Nice. So, 5 points for you, Rory. The other ones were going to be character appears on a TV talk show, leg brace, telling someone to run, fictional biography. Nice. So that's 7-5 to Alex then. Here we go.
How many more do we have?
2 more films.
2 more films.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Film number 4. Mystery killer. Gore.
Psycho.
Teenage girl.
Saw.
Tabloid. Lens flare. Social commentary. Hanging.
Blair Witch.
Generation X.
Oh my god.
What is this?
Telephone.
The Shining?
Ghost mask.
Scream.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
that was the last one. Well done, Rory. You got 1 point there, Rory.
Clawed that one.
7-6.
Oh,
We weren't very good at that one.
wow.
7-6.
Okay. Last one.
You can actually win
I really
this
want to
week's.
win one. Everyone laughs at me when
I've
they hear
been
I play this.
I've been taking a tally of films guessed and points as well. So at some point when I put them all together,
I'm definitely going to have the most points. It just takes me ages to... I mean...
Well, that's because you've played it the most.
That's true as well, yeah.
and that's not true because Alex has still got more points than you.
Oh.
If Alex wins this one, he'll have more
I've
points
guessed
than
more
you.
films. I've guessed more
All right,
films.
Well,
fine.
yeah, that's because you've played it more.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
He's not gonna get. He's not gonna get.
Okay. Right.
This is what I was like last week. We were trying to explain the point system to him. Chris actually just went, Rory.
I've got the point. I've got the point system now. It's fine.
Okay, last film then for this week.
Yeah.
Mentor-protege relationship.
What?
Mentor-protege relationship.
Okay.
Reference to John Lennon. New York City. Bloody hand. Late arrival.
Oh my god.
Breakup date. Teacher misconduct.
What?
Music student.
Whiplash?
Yay!
I've not seen it.
Neither have I.
3 points, Rory. That means
Oh, what was that? What does that mean, Gav?
you take this 9-6.
What's up?
9-6.
Let me hear
The
you
other-
out there, Team Rory.
The other clues were going to be jazz music and concert.
I would never have got that.
Wouldn't you? Yeah.
No.
Ah. So you managed to get lucky that week then. That was keyword countdown. Rory is on top, but it's all to
Saw
play
that coming.
for the rest of our lives on this podcast.
Hey.
Right, let's talk about some bad stuff.
Let's talk about some
after
Darnie
that.
stuff. Yeah. Okay, so I've been watching the new X-Files, and it's pretty pants. Like the first episode, I think, is up there with not just one of the worst episodes of the X-Files ever made, but the worst episodes of anything ever made.
Oh.
Like,
See, that's part of
It
the
is
reason
awful.
why I haven't watched it.
really?
Yeah.
Because of me?
Well, no, they're pretty much universal.
Yeah.
Slating across the board.
It's just not good. I've watched 2 episodes now. I'm going to watch them all because I think the next 2 are going to be good because they're kind of like Monster of the Week ones.
Right.
Yeah.
The second episode had a lot more going for it, but like writing is awful in it. But right.
So what is the problem? Is it obviously because? Okay.
I shall show you. These are right. These are 7 ridiculous things that genuinely happen in the new X-Files.
I'm so excited.
Right. So the series this is no spoilers in this as well. I've skirted around spoilers. So if you care about that. Which you shouldn't, because it's spoiled watching the first episode. Don't watch it. So the new series actually starts with Mulder sounding the most bored. Like, it was good that Mulder always sounded kind of like deadpan and bored. He sounds so bored. Like, he's basically flipping through Polaroids of what's happened to them over the course of the X-Files, right?
Yeah.
And he's just banging them down. And he managed to make like 9 series of the X-Files sound so boring. Because he's literally like, then we do this. And then we run into this monster. There's a picture of him. And it's just like, I was like, how is this a good way to introduce people to the show? Because like that first 90 seconds should have been, hey, have you ever watched the X-Files? If you haven't, bam, look at this. If you have watched the X-Files, bam, look at this. Do you know what I mean? Like, it should have got people really jazzed. I was watching it with like 3 other X-Files, like mates of mine who are really into the X-Files. We were just looking at each other going, this is going to be shit, isn't it? Like, already, like, really, really bad. It's awful.
Were you dressed up as an alien and stuff like that just to celebrate?
No, but I did suggest it. Number 2, in one conversation between Scully and Mulder, she literally says the lines to him, Mulder, you want to believe. And then 20 seconds later says, and you think the truth is out there, and gestures to the sky. That's a conversation that actually happens between the two of them. Like, you can't talk in what the posters are for the show. Like, I'm like, how is this?
These are the X-Files.
Yeah. That is what it is. And then number 3, in the next episode, someone actually points at Mulder's heart and goes, the truth is in here.
Oh my God.
That's a thing that happens.
Oh my God.
That's a genuine thing that happens.
Surely at that point they would have gone, actually guys, it's not working, let's not do that. It's a bit cheesy. No.
But like, not even cheesy, it's just something you just wouldn't say.
No.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just also something like nobody would say.
No.
Not even just in the
Gav,
X-Files.
the truth is in there.
The truth is in there, yeah.
Or is it just out there? I can't remember. Somewhere. The truth is somewhere.
So number 4 on the ridiculous things that happen in the X-Files, Assistant Director Walter Skinner is still the Assistant Director Walter Skinner. Like, how is he still the Assistant Director after, like, the show's been off the air for 14 years? You'd think, like, what's the internal promotion system at the FBI?
He's doing just enough to keep his job and not be fired. But, you know, he's not
just coming in every day, just on BuzzFeed all day.
Exactly.
Walter, have you done those reports? I was getting to them. I was literally getting to them.
Exactly.
He's still the Assistant Director. And also, he hasn't aged, which is the biggest mystery of the X-Files.
Maybe that's going to be the final episode.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
He's not really real. He's an alien.
Number 5 in the ridiculous things that happened. In the very first episode, Mulder is shown something that confirms like 80% of the things that he's ever believed to be true.
Yeah.
And if Scully was there, she would have seen it as well. Scully's not there because he's just sent her off because she's a nurse. She's like a full-time doctor now. So that he just sent her off to do a blood test. And, Scully, while I go off and look at this thing that's going to confirm pretty much everything we've ever studied and investigated, just do this run-of-the-mill blood test for us? Yeah, all right, cheers, I'll see you in a bit. And then he has to spend the rest of the episode going, Scully, you won't believe what I've seen. And she's like, okay.
Also, in this day and age of like camera phones and stuff like that, just take a picture of it.
Yeah. It's just mad. Like, number 6 on my thing is like, Scully then doesn't believe him properly. And it's like, you were literally abducted by an alien. How is this still a conversation that you're having where she's like, Mulder, I don't know if I should believe you. It's like, after everything.
That's the worst when
How
like,
are you
characters
still
in
doing
shows
it?
don't like. I think a lot of us had that problem with Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
When everyone's like, a man that can control people through their minds, like, that's preposterous. And it's like, aliens invaded like months ago. Like, what? Why is this not possible? It's so ridiculous.
Exactly, yeah. And then the final ridiculous thing. So this really set up that Scully's been doing this amazing work as this doctor, putting ears back on kids that really look like aliens.
That's all she's been doing, is putting ears back on kids.
Yeah,
Is that a high demand?
I was going to say,
Yeah.
all these
We
kids
got
with
another
ears back
3.
on.
We got another 3.
Hey.
Ears back on.
Well, no, because I'm assuming it's not like a day job. I think it's like a month's thing where she's like growing ears to put back on these people and stuff like that.
Oh, on the back of mice?
No, on the back of people.
What? No, wait, what? No,
No,
she
they grow
grows
the-
them
do
on
they
the
grow-
mine.
Oh no, there was no mention of that at the company she works for, Nugenics.
Oh my God, it sounds like the weirdest thing ever. Okay.
Well, they don't just come out of the soil, do they?
It's so weird, right? That at some point a character even goes, so basically kids are being born without ears. Scully's job is to put ears back on these kids. And at one point,
Like a factory line. Just glue them on and
at one point,
next
a
one.
character even goes, "These kids kind of look like aliens." And she's like, "Yes, I know."
And she hasn't clocked that.
I think she has. Thing is, at the time,
Thank you for ears. Now where is the leader?
like if you finally watch the first episode, and you should just for this, but like at the time as well, she's wearing like a doctor's like surgeon's mask, which are blocking her ears. So he's going, then these kids without ears look like aliens. Then there's a shot of her, and I was like, she looks like an alien.
Oh my God.
She's always wearing scarves and headphones and things.
So yeah, my final thing as well is like after all that time, so they spend the entire episode talking about like how important Scully's work is, and they've decided, like, as it's quite obvious, that they decided to reopen the X-Files. No word of her leaving these kids. She's just like, oh sweet, X-Files reopen. See you later.
See you
Like,
later.
no, like she hasn't given her a
these
notice. Like there's
Well, I can't hear her, guys.
She's been operating on a kid all episode. Like I don't know what happened to him. Like she just leaves him. It's ridiculous.
little
It's,
mite.
it's such like the only thing I've said on this podcast a lot of times that I will give a TV series 2 episodes before I will.
We got some feedback on that.
I agree, yeah.
All the time, I know. So many tweets about it. But like, there's only 6 episodes for this, and I think if you can't get the first episode right in it's something of 6 episodes, and you've been away for 14 years, what hope is there?
No.
Like absolutely.
I
Like
think the rules definitely do change when giving a show a chance. If it's like a sequel or a continuation from a show you really enjoy.
Oh, so you're changing the rules now about...
I am. Well,
don't change my rules.
Okay.
Don't change. But to be fair, there are only 6 episodes, so I'm thinking, how bad can it get?
But it's not as if you're not going to watch it.
No, I know. X-Files is one of my favourite shows in the world. It's
Exactly.
Just like, but the first episode just undoes so much good work.
But how does the second episode fit within
It's
that?
okay. It's better.
Okay.
But the third episode is written by like one of my favourite X-Files writers. Written some of my favourite episodes. So,
Fingers crossed.
and it's a one-off like Monster of the Week episode. It's called it's Mulder and Scully Meet the Were Monster, or something like that. It's called, and everyone is loving it. So I'm really hoping
All right.
by the time next week rolls around, I can give you some more good news.
All right.
Hopefully.
Here we are. So that's some Darnie news, and some other really Darnie news.
This is hot off the press.
Hot off the press. Tragedy strikes just before Groundhog Day. So Groundhog Day is February the 2nd. So this podcast goes out on February the 2nd, and I'm sorry to report that the groundhog from Groundhog Day, as in the real one,
Yeah.
died.
I bet you didn't see that coming.
Well, not from the movie.
Not for the movie.
Not
He's,
from the
he's
movie.
long
He's-
dead. That
he's
one is.
dead.
Phil.
He's probably died 100 times again and again.
I love the fact that we didn't mention Sir Terry Wogan, and bless his passing this week. But the groundhog gets
So
a
the
mention.
Groundhog gets it, yeah. Also sad about Terry Wogan dying.
Very sad.
Really
yeah.
sad. Have you watched that video of him signing off from his
I
last
haven't.
ever thing?
No, I would like to, but yeah, 2016 continues to blow
I
goats.
know.
Claimed the
really
groundhog.
rubbish.
So-
Claimed the groundhog, Wogan.
So the whole thing is that what if he comes out and he sees a shadow or is scared by a shadow and goes back in, then it's more months of winter? Or isn't that the
He decides, yeah.
Yeah. What happens if he dies before he
That's a-
eternal damnation? Is this the
exactly.
apocalypse now or something?
Eternal ice. Yeah, I don't know what happens if they die. But the thing is, the article I read said, the Groundhog Day is going to have to go ahead without him.
How can that happen? Yeah.
I
Your
don't-
cat day.
I don't,
He
I don't
pops
know.
up and-
He'll be like, oh, what's happening then?
So
Let's roll him down a hill.
So
if
is
he
that-
rolls to the
maybe,
left.
maybe they could like Weekend at Bernie's him, and then he'll come out like tied to.
I think I would have
get
done
sunglasses.
that. I wouldn't have told people.
Wouldn't have told people.
It means too much to people.
How do you become elected as the kind of the nominated groundhog?
I don't know.
Some sort of gladiator showdown.
Maybe
I would
it's
assume.
like lineage. Maybe they're part of the same lineage.
think?
Because I always think that with because every year on Thanksgiving the president pardons one turkey.
Right.
And then that turkey lives forever. Not forever. I don't know. Like,
I don't think that's how it works. He's not God.
but yeah, then that turkey gets to live and I guess like a normal life rather than being killed. But I always wonder.
But then does he go back on the list, the kill list for next year?
No. He's
you have to
he's
keep avoiding?
pardoned forever. He's
Right.
pardoned forever. So I wonder, like with this, I don't know if it's like this groundhog's daughter?
I reckon it's something way
Son?
sadder where they just go somewhere and pick the cutest groundhog, and then he comes out and.
Do you think there's like a Miss America but for groundhogs? Like they all dress up little outfits.
I personally, if I was the mayor of this place, I wouldn't have told people that he's dead.
You have to.
No, you don't.
You'll know. People will know.
How will people
6
know?
years, right? He's been doing this 6 years.
Yeah. Well,
So
no,
what if he comes out and be like, oh,
Wait, it's probably on his LinkedIn.
No, but you could get one that looks exactly like it. Surely.
I don't know.
I bet there are people that are very familiar with groundhogs.
Yeah, I guess.
You
So.
see, Meet the Parents never works out.
All right.
Don't try and get a replacement.
All right. Well, that was sad anyway. Some darning news
Yeah,
that
a bit
made
of
me
a bummer.
sad.
Some darling news.
What we got?
We got some feedback.
Okay, yeah. I've got one from Jonathan Dawes, who says, "Oh God, why have you given me this one?" Says idea for a name. The company is called IGN, and you are the UK team, and it's a podcast. So I would call it the IGN UK Podcast. There is no need to change it.
That's why I gave it to you.
I wouldn't have started listening to this podcast if it had been called Killing Time or something other
stupid
cheesy
idea.
bollocks.
I don't like.
Your podcast does what it says on the tin. I would argue that it doesn't, because what the fuck is in the tin that says IGN UK Podcast that you're
Us.
getting from this? Exactly. So, but that could just be anything. You idiot, John. Anyway, your podcast does what it says.
He's complimenting us,
And you should
can't
keep
go
it that
back.
way. If you change it, then people will just scroll past it because they don't know immediately what they're going to get if they listen. I'd also like to say that Rory is great. Agreed.
Oh, thank you.
That's the smartest thing you've said all day, Jonathan Dawes. He's always happy and has good things to say about everything. Jonathan, you could take a leaf out of his butt, mate. Next bit of feedback.
I feel bad for Jonathan.
Thank you for writing in, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Eugene Johnson. Hey, what's
Okay.
up? This is the weirdest bit of feedback I think I've ever read out. Is the Cat and Fiddle Road as dangerous as they say? Any IGN UK members have any cat and fiddle driving stories?
See, I didn't know what that meant
Is
at
that
all.
a street?
I don't know what that is.
Cat and Fiddle Road. Is the Cat and Fiddle Road as dangerous as they say? Is that a road? I'm going to Google.
I don't know.
Cat and Fiddle Road. Well,
It's your story.
I didn't get.
You picked it.
I absolutely did not.
Cat and Fiddle Road.
Well, that's from the.
Hey, little the cat and the fiddle.
Exactly right.
The cow
Exactly
jumps
right.
over the moon. But is it that dangerous? I don't know.
Don't know. I don't know what it is.
Let's move on to 3, and I'll look this
Okay.
up and see if I
Okay,
can find any
fine.
information.
So this is an email from Doma Strange of TK Casuals, which is a Rainbow Six squad, I assume. Anyway, he says that this is based on feedback that we gave a couple of weeks ago saying the improvements we would like to see. It's all right, it's not that bad.
All right.
He thinks you guys are underutilising Glaz in Rainbow Six Siege. Now, he's the guy that Krupa uses with the
Yeah, I
sniper.
use him as well.
Spetsnaz
Right, okay.
sniper.
Rory went mental the other day because I think Krupa kind of moved away from him, and Rory'd been using him quite a lot.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
me, Rory, and Krupa playing the other day, I kept getting Glass first, and he was losing his absolute mind.
Well,
think
the
it'd
problem
be
with
Flash,
Rory
isn't
in Rainbow Six is that he just doesn't have a character.
Yeah.
He's got no character.
As I said earlier,
What?
I'm multifunctional.
You're a jack of all trades,
A jack
master
of all
none.
trades. Oh, hey.
Just saying.
I've got a really good Glass story from when we played the
Anyway,
other day. Sorry,
hang on a
go on,
minute.
yeah.
So, Glaz has traits that makes him great to use from outside in. The airplane freeze instance, he can snipe through the glass windows that no other character can. And we've been doing that a lot more, because
Yeah,
if you look at a lot of the maps, there are raised platforms that allow you to see straight in. So that combined with Ash, so you get Ash to pump in a long-range breach, then you've got clear shots that anybody gets in the way.
Awesome.
So he was just saying that, good tactics.
Yeah.
But he was also talking about some of the new DLC that's coming out, because there are 2 operators that are coming, Frost and Buck.
Yeah.
And it's been confirmed that if you haven't got Season Pass, it's going to cost you 25,000 renown each.
Okay.
25,000
That's a lot.
renown.
That's
That
I
is
reckon I've probably
a
made
lot.
that much
They cost
throughout my entire.
1,500. No, you've made way more than that.
I don't know.
They cost 1,500 now. Or
Well, yeah, they go up
It goes up
Yeah,
the more you
in
buy.
500
Right,
increments.
okay.
So there's 2 parts to that. The first part is obviously that the map is free, which is great.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to, you don't have to spend any money getting those operators. You
No.
can just grind it, get the renown,
Yeah.
and do it that way. And if you do the challenges that the game sets, you'll probably rack that up quite
Yeah.
quickly.
Which
which I think is not a bad idea. But
I'm so up for
25,000.
games, allowing DLC through in-game currency.
Yeah.
Like I think that is such a great way, to include
And
DLC.
you can purchase renown, or at
Yeah.
least you can buy renown boosters.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah. like using
It's
hard
part of the
cash.
packs.
I would never buy that, but
No.
I like it. I like this.
But it's a fast way of doing it.
Because
Yeah.
everyone wins as well. You know, it's a company that's then getting players to play their game even more to
Yeah.
get the DLC. So
Yeah.
in a way, you know, you're still generating interest and play time.
Let me just tell you about the two operators. I
Okay.
know this is slightly off. So
Yeah.
Frost is the defender.
Yeah.
And their special power is a welcome mat, which is a mechanical kind of trap.
Right.
So it won't be picked up by IQ's kind of risk computers,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't be affected by the EMP grenades. It's like the icon I think I said before. It looks like a bear trap.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to keep your wits about you.
That's
when you
cool.
go into a new room.
I like that.
And then Buck, who's the attacker, gets an underslung shotgun. So you get a machine gun up top and a shotgun underneath.
Buck's definitely American, isn't
That's
he?
awesome.
He's got to
I
be
think he might
US.
Canadian actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
My story about using Glaz the other day for like just inside was really, really good. It was the bit we were doing maybe hostage. No, the bomb one. Yeah, bomb defusal.
Yeah.
And I put the bomb defusal down. Had it, like in the back of the airplane, there was like a little shield thing, and I managed to like get over the top of that. You guys were in the corner, and there was only one place that they were like we could see both entrances they'd come in.
Yeah.
And I put my scope on, even though we were inside, and just had it leveled on the door. So as soon as people come in, it'd be bing, 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 bing,
Yeah.
and just I took like 17 kills just so people like because as soon as they come through, it was just like taking them down.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
a really good way of using him. Like
He's got such a powerful gun as
Yeah.
well. That's
Yeah.
only a couple of hits. Can we talk about Dale's electric wire for a second?
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So Dale always picks the guy who has the electric barbed wire.
Yeah.
And so we'll be doing Protect the Hostage, where waves and waves of enemies are coming in. Sometimes we'll complete 3 waves and never see an enemy.
Yeah.
Because all you can hear throughout the hallways is people going,
Yeah.
and then just see Dale's points going up.
He
Killed,
did have one magnificent game where I think he killed like
It was
Yeah.
like 27 people or something ridiculous.
without firing a shot. It was all through like
Yeah.
electrified
Insane.
barbed wire.
But it's really ominous because everyone's waiting. It's just dead silent.
Yeah.
You really hears,
Yeah.
in the distance. And there's
See,
enemies
I don't like
coming.
that because Dale is one person that I was pretty much always above. Like,
right, okay, it's like that.
I'm not very good at it, but I was pretty much always above Dale in the
pecking
in
order.
the pecking order.
Yeah.
But now that he's got this ridiculous thing, I'm not anymore.
That's what I mean. You need to find your niche.
Yeah.
I just want to say before we move on, the
Okay.
Cat and the Fiddle Road is in
Yeah.
England.
Well, we guessed that, Rory.
And it's had a lot of problems with road safety. There's been 33 major crashes from 1999 to 2001.
What is
Well, that was a long
So-
time ago.
But
Oh,
why
I threw away the email. I think Eugene was worried about our
Where
our
is
health
the Cat and the
safety.
Fiddle?
Is it by us?
Cat and the Fiddle is by Buxton.
Oh, so it's over the kind of Pennine Pass or something.
Yeah,
Alright.
you can see a photo of it. It looks very swervy and quite dangerous.
Jesus.
So I don't think we've ever been on it before.
Well, next time we do a live podcast, we'll probably head to Buxton. Probably
Yeah.
do it there.
Well, I must have lived it because I lived in Macclesfield for a fair few years.
maybe he knows. Maybe he's stalking you.
So I've probably been across that road,
You
and I'm here.
And he lived to
and
tell
he's
the
lived to
tale.
tell a
Alright.
tale. So it's safe. It's safe, Eugene. Don't worry about it.
All right, I've got one from William Rimmer, who says, Duck Hunt, just to let you swell guys know, the Jinx is now available on Skybox Skybox Now TV. Cheers for the show, lads. I probably get tweets every single day about the Jinx because we went on about it quite
I've had
a
a
lot.
few. Yeah,
And
because the podcast we did was it 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
saying stuff that you absolutely should watch.
yeah, and we've championed it quite a few times, and it's back on Skybox sets because I said it was a bit rubbish that they'd taken it off there. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's quite hard to find then.
Yeah.
Really
Pay, like,
hard, yeah.
$149 on Amazon Prime. But yeah, it's back on Skybox set, so if you've got it, make sure you watch it. It's really, really
Before it
good.
goes.
Before it goes again. I
I'll
don't know
get
what
back
the
on it.
rules are
Yeah.
for all that. Rory, what's the last bit of feedback?
Rob Porter, he's having a go at you, Gav.
In Comic Sans, by the look of it,
Yeah, that's a bold,
which is a
bold
double
choice.
cut.
Yeah.
I know Gav
Yeah,
fancies himself as a warrior for justice.
Nothing about
in
fancy
cinemas.
myself. I am one.
In cinemas. But if he does actually try and take away people's mobile phones, even when they're on silent, a few rows over and not disturbing anyone, then I'm sorry, but he's part of the problem, not the solution.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
unnecessary and excessive.
Absolutely
Listen
not.
to the charge presented to
Okay,
you.
fine. Sorry.
Especially as he doesn't even know the reason for them using the phone in the first place. If the person is being loud and disruptive, then fair enough. But if they're being quiet by themselves and for whatever reason want to use their mobile phone in silence, then that's their prerogative.
No, if I can see the light, that is being disruptive. If I can see the light and it's taking my focus away from the film that I've paid for, that is disruptive in my book.
Ooh, what he needs to do is realize that not everyone is an anal nutbag. like he is, and therefore don't have to live by his own personal beliefs and rules.
It's not. I'm doing it for the good of everyone, not just myself.
For the record,
Rob, you anal
if you
nutbag.
tried to take my phone off me when I was minding my own business in silence, I would straight up tell you to fuck off.
Well, it's fine. You wouldn't have a phone.
I just think I can just imagine this situation where everybody's trying to watch a film and you've got you and Rob just slapping each other as you're trying to get the phone.
I like the idea of like
From the way that Rob writing, I can honestly say that if I ever actually met him, there would be no slaps thrown.
Well, he also says he'd like to point out that
I'd
he
probably
does
just
like
nut him.
Be into it. He says he does like you, Gav, and he finds you hilarious. It's just this one thing that he thinks that you need to learn, that just because it bugs you, it doesn't give you the right to retaliate.
Rob, shut your mouth. It doesn't just bug me, it's a problem and everyone needs to be stopped. Minding your own business on your phone is not minding your own business. You're being disruptive and you're being a jerk, and I'm going to stop you, Rob. So that's what I would say to Mr. Comic Sans over there.
You sound like the kid at school that would point out if other kids hadn't done their homework. They'd be like, no, Miss Taylor, Miss Taylor, he didn't pick it up.
How am I the baddie here? People using their phones the baddie. Let's not turn this round. Let's not listen to Rob's poison.
I think it's your extreme nature.
No.
Have you actually taken anybody's phone off them? No.
You did, yeah.
I've knocked someone's phone out of their hand, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
And what did they do?
Said, we're gonna beat you up now. And I was like, okay, let's do that then. And they went, we'll do it after the film. And I said, well, I'm going to leave now. So, because I don't want to be in this situation. I don't want to be in this cinema anymore. So if you want to do something about it, we'll have to go outside now and do it. We'll get you after the film. As I just said, I'm not going to be here after the film. So if you want to fight, let's go out and fight now. No, we're going to get you after the film. You're dead after the film. And I was like, look, mate, I don't know how to explain this to you anymore. Like, I'm not going to be here at the film. I'm going to go home. So if you want to fight anything, if you want anything, now is the time to do it. You're going to be dead after. All right, I'm going, mate.
That was definitely Rob. You're like
that. What film was that?
Scream 4.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Worth it.
I've never watched it, but I was actually kind of enjoying it. But there we are.
So you left just on principle because...
I left because I felt like it was... I was just like, I'm not going to enjoy this film if I sat here now anyway. So I left and got my money back. Right. So I thought, because I was sitting in the middle of the group as well, of people. There was like 2 guys that were with him that side, and then him and like 6 girls that side.
Right.
And I figured, there's no point sitting here now that I've knocked this guy's phone out of hand. But like, to be fair, he stood up, and then I stood up, and then he sat back down. So I was just like, yeah, all right, mate, you know you've lost this, so it's fine. But he was quiet. Like, he didn't say anything while I was leaving, so that was good.
He's probably planning his alley attack.
I waited outside for so long. Like, my girlfriend at the time was like, can we please go home? And I was like, I'd really like to wait to see if they come out. Like, because I do want to knock this guy out. But it didn't happen, unfortunately. So, yeah. But yeah, if you want to write into us, you can. IGN_UK feedback at IGN.com. Also, you should already be buying tickets to our Glasgow live podcast.
What happens if someone uses their phone during the broadcasting of that?
I think I'd be all right with that.
Would you? Okay.
Because it's like a public thing. It's like a live event.
What would be unacceptable that we could perhaps encourage people to do? Just to see what the reaction was.
I think genuinely, do you know what? I think if you're doing something that, and this is not just in the cinema or at an IGN live show, if you're doing something that could conceivably make somebody else's time on this planet not as good, don't fucking do that thing. Like, so if you're at the IGN live podcast in Glasgow and you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to shout out, or I'm going to play some loud music, or I'm going to run a car through the brewery.
If any of this happens, it'd be amazing.
Don't do that, because it'll affect somebody else's enjoyment of that particular thing.
I think if you're at the live show, anytime you see Gav with his phone out, please tell him to put it away, because that's disrespectful. And he's performing that night, and he should be giving his full attention.
They want to focus 100%.
So I think anytime you see Gav with his phone out in the street, we have phone away, you prick.
Absolutely, that's fair enough.
Put that down. I can see the light in my peripherals.
You're ruining my life.
Because I did actually think at podcast 300, because of where we had it, it was in a live venue place.
Yeah.
Like the people, like the sort of devotees of the podcast who wanted to hear everything, were sort of sat in the front. But then off to the side where the bar was, there was quite a lot of noise, wasn't there? Did anyone else?
Oh, there was a lot of noise.
Like there was a lot of people chatting and things like that. And I was thinking, like I do quite a lot of like live podcasts, and I wouldn't be able to do that unless there's silence. And like I like interaction and things like that, but Like, you come to... The reason you're a fan of something is you like 3, 4, 5 people casually gobbing off into a microphone. So if you come then and talk while that's happening, what's the point of that?
I guess podcasts are still kind of new enough of a medium that people don't really know the rules. But I assume it's kind of the same if you went to see like a comedy show. Like, you wouldn't really go sit and talk. No. We are hilarious.
I don't like people talking during like music gigs, but...
I don't like that either.
I think that's pretty annoying. But anyway, so Glasgow Film Festival, we are there. If you Google Glasgow Film Festival IGN, you can buy tickets to our podcast. There's a film screening straight after, but I think Glasgow is doing some kind of deal where you can buy a ticket for both, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we'll be hanging around, getting drunk, because the place is really, really good. Like, I'm not drinking for the next 3 months, but I am going to break it for that weekend. So watch me drink 6%
oh my God.
IPA and be off my nut. So yeah,
good stuff.
If that sounds good, come see that. Thank you very much. That was the IGN UK podcast, or Killing Time.
It's not going to be Killing Time. I hate Killing Time.
We'll see you next week.
See you later.